The penis power clip that you did in Japan in the DDT promotion, because I do this show, Live Audio Wrestling, I had that clip sent to me probably 25 times by just different fans of the show. How did this even come about, and how did you pitch this? What do you call it? Is it the penisplex? Like, what do you call it?
Well, I really didn't have a name for it, and then getting ahead of myself here, after it went viral and I got the YouPorn sponsorship, YouPorn sports sponsorship, they kind of bought the rights to the name, so now it's the YouPornplex.
Oh, interesting. So how did you pitch this, and like, where did this idea even come from?
Well, the person I did it with in Japan, the wrestler, is Dan Chukwudino, and he plays a very homoerotic character. He does maybe some stuff that wouldn't be as politically correct in North America as it is, in Japan. There's a little bit more leeway with that still. So, he does a lot of things to like freak his opponents out by grabbing them, in the crotch, or, rubbing up on them and things like that. That's part of his wrestling. And we had been doing press conferences actually because, there's a big buildup for our match because we both have very sexually based characters. And so we were just trying to think of a few cool things we could do to play off each other's signature spots. And like I said, one of his signatures is grabbing his opponent by the junk before he does a move to them. And so he wrestles a lot of Japanese wrestlers. So his idea, it was actually kind of his idea. He said maybe I grab, but in his broken English, he said maybe I grab, but maybe sell because American cock is so big and so strong. And I felt like it was an episode of South Park, to be honest with you. But yeah, so and then they're like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's different, for our characters. And then, and then I said, well, we're just standing there. Then what do we do? And then I said, well, maybe I'll hulk up, maybe I'll fire up. And he said, okay, then I bump. And that was kind of it. We didn't really put much more planning into it than that. And it just was like something that came off visually really well, so it was appealing and funny, and it was quick and short, which helps the viral video. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
It did indeed. I mean, now you've done kind of repeats on this as well, because I've seen the next one. I might not have been the next one, but another one where you flipped 5 men, one of them being TNA's Rockstar Spud as well.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about it, is that that was actually Spud's idea. Now when I go to do shows, since the clip has got so popular, and people have seen it, and now wrestlers that I'm wrestling with are coming up with ideas to use it and insert it. So I don't even really have to pitch it or ask or come up with ideas myself necessarily. People want to get involved and want to take it, so they're coming up with ideas to make it different and make it kind of its own version.
And so also recently, of course, you made your debut in Lucha Underground. Now, Lucha's been criticized, or Lucha Underground, that is, has been criticized a little bit for their man versus woman matches. I mean, that's something that comes up. A lot of people reporting on that, but something that they very much push. Now, you're definitely one that is no stranger to intergender matches. And I'm wondering, what's your feeling on that in the Lucha Underground setting?
Well, I think Lucha Underground even more than anywhere else, because it is a TV show with seasons and shot like a TV show or a movie, should be treated, differently. Because, I mean, I feel like there's a bit of a contradiction if you say you're a Star Wars fan and you like The Force Awakens, but you don't like intergender wrestling or things like that. Or you're a Marvel fan and you like the Avengers movies, but you don't like Lucha Underground because, there's a lot of intergender scripted fighting going on in The Force Awakens, or, Scarlett Johansson or the Black Widow in the Avengers movies is fighting, or she's, fighting men all the time. And you just, it's just part of a script. It's part of, I don't really think you can deviate what one thing is okay for scripted fighting and another thing's not okay. It's all under the umbrella of we're performing a skit or script.
So with that in mind, I'm wondering, in the world of Lucha Underground this season, will we see a Joey Ryan boobaplex?
I can't really give that away.
Okay.
But I mean, as you mentioned, there's a lot of intergender fighting, and even midget wrestlers against full size wrestlers and things like that. So it wouldn't be too far reaching to guess that I would get in the ring with a woman at some point.
All right, so maybe the boobplex. Looking forward to it. Now, along with that, you debuted on Lucha Underground on February 17th, but then there was another in-ring debut in an organization called Lucha Kaboom on February 25th. As I have been told, my sources have told me, you're one of the guys under the hoods on the season of Fuller House.
Yeah, it's, they booked it through Lucha Vavoom, and, obviously being a family television show, they can't do Lucha Vavoom because part of Vavoom is sex and violence and things like that, and the burlesque dancing. So they dressed it up as Lucha Kaboom, but they used some of us, Lucha Vavoom booked us out, and because they wanted it to be more of a lucha feel, like everybody was in a mask. So
it was yourself. I've heard T.J. Perkins was one of the stunt guys as well there working in the ring. Anybody else that we'd be familiar with?
Los Luchas, who play the Crazy Chickens.
Okay. So you were under the hood as the Skeletons.
No, I actually, from what I hear, because I haven't seen it yet, because the Skeletons were T.J. Perkins and a wrestler named Leo Blaze. And there was me and another wrestler that were kind of in the background, but I heard that our scene didn't make it. But it's cool though, because I got to hang out for 4 days on set of Fuller House, which is like a dream come true because I loved that show growing up.
Did Candace Cameron do all her own stunts? Because from what I could tell, it did look like her the whole time.
Yeah, she did have a stunt woman there, but the stunt woman barely had to do much. With Candace Cameron, I think she has a karate background. Maybe she's very athletic. She was having so much fun that they shot with her. They didn't really change out to the stunt woman very much.
It looked like a really fun time. Just one more question on it. Did you pitch Cameron the Boobaplex?
No, I didn't. I was not actually in the ring with her at any point. So,
man!
But I'm trying to get Lucha Vavoom because Candace Cameron did have a great time on the show. She even tweeted about it being her favorite episode. So I try to get Lucha Vavoom to pitch to her or to get her to come to do an actual show, or at least a run in potentially at a Lucha Vavoom show and see if she'll do it, and maybe I'll get to work with her then.